have you noticed that they can have a 1-minute match or a 20-minute match, but they can't have a 5-minute match? There's no middle ground with these people. Cody came out, the big entrance with Arn to wrestle a fine-looking young athlete that we have never seen or heard of before. And was his name Seth Carcass? I couldn't get his last name.
I forget if it was Gargus or Carcass or
Sounded like Carcass.
Something.
He wasn't here long. Boom, boom, figure 4. That's it. Which is fine. As we mentioned, they should have been giving all these guys these short squash matches when we first saw them, and then maybe somebody would be a star now. But they started backwards. They had their main events, and now they're doing fucking squash matches. And it would be wonderful if they would get talent that you could tell was not straight out of wrestling school. That's why I like fucking Nemeth's brother, hot young Briley, old Hollywood hunk.
Ryan Nemeth.
Because Ryan Nemeth, I was giving all his nicknames. Because he knows he's a heel, he knows his job, but you can beat him in 5 minutes, and there's something to it there. They need better, more experienced underneath workers that they can have job matches in 5 minutes and not 1 or 20, is all I'm saying. But then Cody starts his promo and he does 3 words again. Why has there ever been a completed interview on this program?
I used to think it was just a Cody problem because, again, we've had this where all of a sudden Jake Roberts came out. Of course, Jade Cargill came out. Eddie Kingston, isn't it how Eddie Kingston debuted? He just walked out while Cody was out there. Cody can't get a word in without someone wanting to come out, but now it's every promo on the show. It's Sting. Sting has something to say.
Yeah.
Let's get someone out there. The only promos that are ever completed are the ones like the Moxley Kingston one where they're away from the building. Anything can happen at Daly's places.
No, but sometimes when they're back in the back, they get attacked. They don't even get interrupted. They just get attacked. Well,
away from the building.
Okay. Well, and then you're in parts unknown there. You never know what might happen. Anyway, Cody starts promo. He gets a few words out. He's interrupted by Penthouse in the stands with his English interpreter. And I understand why he had the interpreter. When he tried to speak some English, you could barely understand him. This took quite a while. With the telling the interpreter in Spanish, the interpreter tells Cody what he wants to, Penthouse wants him to know, blah, blah, blah. And Cody's standing there and listening to it. And Cody is the one, he's not a hothead. He's always cool. He's in control of himself. He's professional, right? He's above the fray. And then suddenly Penthouse said, well, I would have hurt your arm even worse where you couldn't hold that new baby girl of yours. And immediately Cody goes ape shit, becomes me, fucking a lunatic with an anger management issue, dives out of the ring, jumps the rail, and tackles this guy, and everybody in the fucking building is immediately trying to get in between them. Is that pretty much the scene that we saw?
Yeah. I knew they had to do something with Cody. This wasn't... I guess they win for the surprise aspect. I didn't think it would be Cody versus Penta.
Well, but did you also think that was a bit abrupt? It wasn't like I went to Dusty's grave, dug it up, and sodomized him last night. Old Cody went from 0 to 60 pretty immediately, didn't he?
Yeah, look, I can understand that. If we're going to go with the idea that the one trigger is don't say something about my kids, even if they're not born yet, I can understand that.
But he didn't even say, boy, you got an ugly baby. He said, I'll hurt your arm where you can't hold your baby. Fuck. It wasn't even like, I'll blind you, junkyard dog, where you'll never be able to see your baby. It was,
I don't know what happens on the Spanish commentating team there. I guess Penta was doing commentary with them. Apparently on the pay-per-view, they spoiled the Christian Cage surprise because the commentators didn't know any different. And when Ethan Page came out for the ladder match, they announced it as being Christian Cage.
Oh, my God.
Which is pretty funny. But the guy who
how could they mistake that guy for Christian?
Apparently they didn't know who Christian Cage was.
Oh, my God.
But that translator guy, that was the guy that he was the interviewer for, what was it, Lance Archer and Phoenix. a couple weeks ago or a week ago, whatever it was.
I can't keep track.
He was kind of healing it up, though, wasn't he?
Oh, well, yeah. I thought he was the manager.
I thought he was the commentator. I thought he was just sitting at the desk with Penta. He must have been the commentator. I have no idea.
I didn't know that Penta was doing Spanish language commentary, so I just thought that they got either a Spanish commentator or a interpreter, and the guy's being heelish because he's with Penthouse. But yeah, he was enjoying telling Cody what was wrong with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't Cody hit him?
It was not in his contract.
Where's Hugo Savinovich? He was just in the Observer Awards for Commentator of the Year. Why isn't he there?
Damn it. Poor Hugo. I didn't think he was still going to be alive 20 years ago at this time. And, he had some issues with some substances and lost his voice from all the things that was going on. And that's when he, got let go or whatever from the WWE. But he's still around.
One of those facts that you hear and you're like, really? I can't believe that.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
That he was married to Wendy Richter.
You are correct.
Like, really? How? I mean, that's even crazier than Baby Doll and Sam Houston.
She went to Puerto Rico right after she got sideways with Vince and spent some time down there working, and stranger things have happened, I guess. Anyway, they're just yanking our chain now. As Bobby Blaze would say, they're just pissing up our leg and telling us it's raining. The next segment, the big challenge from Pockets and Chucklefuck. These guys should have been a traveling vaudeville comedy team. All they would have to do is just walk out and stand there, and they're so funny looking you would laugh. Not at anything they'd actually do on purpose. But Chucklefuck Taylor speaks like a fan doing a wrestling promo in his basement in the mirror. Just as bland and as milquetoast and as hatchet-headed, and the other idiot's completely useless. But did I hear correct that they challenged Miro and Pip and their sidekick, Penelope Pitstop, to a match where the ring is surrounded by video games?
I believe that was what they challenged him to. I was surprised by this because I didn't think anyone was clamoring for more from this feud after Revolution. Not that anyone really enjoyed this feud from the very beginning, and somehow it's continuing.
It's continuing. It goes on. They actually, with a straight face, looked at the camera, said, we want a match with a ring surrounded by video games. And then they come out of the package or the promo, and JR says, strong remarks there. He's got to, at this point, he's just not listening.
I think Tony Schiavone's just happy enough to laugh along with every stupid thing. Excalibur is a complete goof. I would be shocked if Excalibur's ever been laid. I gotta be honest. The more I listen to him, the more I just think this guy's a fucking idiot. Jim Ross.
No, actually, I know for a fact he has been laid. But he always wants his partner on top because the only thing he can do is fuck up.
Very good.
All right.
But Jim Ross, I think he's gotten to the point where he's not even going to hide it. He's been one of the highlights because when something bad happens, he'll make a little snide remark. And I know it drives AEW, like hardcore fans, crazy. Like, he's not putting over the product. Because you can't. We'll talk about the Maki Ito segment shortly.
No, you're chomping at the bit, giddy boy.
But if you listen to that segment, just listen to it. Excalibur is laughing and giddy. Schiavone's losing it. Jim Ross isn't.
No.
He's the only one not outwardly laughing like they are on commentary. He knows what this is.
And by the way, her name is not Maki Ito, it's Maki Ono, as in, oh no, we're going to see Ito. She's Sonny's illegitimate daughter.
Oh, stop it.
But when that was going on, JR made that, it's live TV, folks, reference.
Yeah. But Orange Cassidy...
Anyway, we're jumping ahead.
But, Orange Cassidy, you're not a fan of him at all. I'm not, but I've at least been, someone who has said, I understand why AEW fans like him. They seem to react to him I don't agree with it, but I understand why they're pushing him the way they have been. But boy, did they cool him off since that Jericho feud.
Well, the joke was played out. There's nothing else you can do with it. It's reached its conclusion. What else can you do? He fucking does the shit he does, and then he sticks his hands in his pockets, and then he does more shit that he does, and it's always the same shit, and it's the same joke, and it's the same note. Get your fucking bugle and just go toot, 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 over and over, because that's it. There's no music. Anyway,